All right, several things here. FBI is still dirty. Uh, Jonathan Luna's girlfriend, if she's still over there at Meta, she's a sexualizer. So, yeah, New Mexico dropped that case pretty quick against Meta. Right. So again, they applied some sort of pressure where Meta was, something to do with pedophiles. So what they're doing is they're moving psychological operation to adulterate the mind of people so that Zuckerberg can have another 20 billion, another 30 billion. Other people are doing it also. Threads has come up as a spycraft visualization machine. So they're watching these videos. It's not by accident. It's never been by accident. She may have killed Jonathan Luna. That's how big a fraud it is. And she may be that unstable. And she's not the only one. There's thousands of federal agents that have been part of this. And they could be sitting next to Cash today, making it look good. They're trained as spies. Right. So they have that capability to secrete at that level. Right. And if it's the FBI, then of course they don't get busted. Right. Thank you, Larry. They just launched their big attack. They also attacked my life in a certain way. No biggie, but they'll pay for it in hell. I have way over them now. I did the whole time, but this time they launched a big one. And they have the capability to, and again, the goal is for you not to reach out to people and have a normal life so they can talk about it, but you can't reach out because their people aren't real anyway. Right. Right. Thanks, Larry. So they have a group of people that are the nice buddy people. It's all throughout Marshal Service, all throughout all the agencies. Right. They'll come in, they'll be your buddy, and they'll tell you to get rid of that guy, that gal. Right. They got you when you came in. They're there and they're part of it. No, it's not an investigative technique. It's a psychological torture technique, a psychological warfare technique, and they are taking the money, and they've taken money from the narcos. CEOs, I felt the CEOs were part of the narcotics smuggling back when their businesses would have crashed. They stayed up by narcotics distribution. That's how it got so big. Remember, we had the financial crash. So they can't live without millions and billions. So they went into narcotics trafficking. And then we got what we got now, and they won't let it go. That's our peers. F you and F your families. You earned yourself some more curses. Thanks, Larry. Now, it's a big, the whole thing that happened, you're saying it's Satan. It's not only Satan. The whole thing that's happening in Minnesota is exactly the pattern of spycraft operation they use to take out my life. But again, this is the part that you have to be careful because you're focusing on the physical. Your agents are being attacked by spies. I guarantee it. Something like Cambridge Analytica delivered dossiers on all of your officers. That's why they want the identities of your officers. And they want to be able to track your officers. Right. Well, so they can set them up. Just again, do I have to post the York Digital Record video again, Butler County, on how you set people up? Agreed. No, they're in full setup mode. But you remember, no matter what they tell you, it goes back to the narcos, the sex traffickers, and the fraudsters. Hey, look, my teapot agrees. Nor my tea kettle. That was the scam. Like when I was in, it's the CIA. And it was CIA people, but it's not the CIA. Right? Even if it's the director, it's still not the CIA. Right. Well, that's how they do it. If you go back Like Trump's fighting it. They go, "Oh, you're a pedophile." He's going, "Foo you." These people roll over, man. They roll over and they do your family and do your kids. I get this thing on Celsius. Celsius. How do you get it to? There it is. Thank you, Larry. Thanks, Larry. No, that's who they are. They're pedophiles and sex gave into sex trafficking, right? And then when they get caught, they sacrifice your family. It's Pol Pot technology. Pol Pot was you had to kill your. In some cases, you had to kill your neighbor, or you were going to be killed. Right? This is what they're using. It goes back to Putin. It goes back to Chinese. Walls is Chinese. Walls is Chinese. Remember that. Bring it up. It's that big. Walls is Chinese operative in the United States. Walls is a spy for China. Addicting our kids to narcotics so he can live a wealthy, well life after he raped probably some Chinese kids. Who knows how many in Minnesota, right? Yeah, there's no mystery as to why Walls is the man to make that stand. Right. He's Chinese telephone man. Right. And they're going to addict your kids to narcotics for the narco intelligence state. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Want to play games? We'll play games. Yeah, the FBI's here is dirty. There's no doubt. Been on me since the day I got here. Why? Because you're all criminals. That easy. That easy. I ain't seen a big case come out of this place except for people that have psychological issues. Right. All their cases. That's how you find a deep state FBI office. Look for the ones where they go after people that are just either psychologically imbalanced or they cause to be psychologically imbalanced. Because they're afraid to go after the real narcos and the real sex traffickers. Right. They got dossiers on all of them. Oh, there they are. Curse them again. Whoa! The other one's been willing me offline. So up here in Butler is where the drug dealers live that actually supply the narcotics to Pittsburgh. And run the sex trafficking in Pittsburgh. But of course, FBI will show you like three black guys from the middle of Pittsburgh somewhere. These are the bigs. Right. Well, but they purchased the gold visa, and they're with Trump. Look, it's got a card with Trump's face on it. That's going to come to bite you in the ass one day. They're going to arrest somebody, and he's going to have a Trump gold visa. Look, I got this card from Trump. Right. Thank you, Larry. Dirty pieces of shit. Addicting everybody else's kids to drugs while saying you're all the savior. That's the other one. Oh, we're the one. Zuckerberg's a wonderful philanthropist. He gives away 0.01% of his ill-gotten gains. agents. Right. Yeah, Zuckerberg's been a fake since the beginning. Remember they were saying the people that he had some programs. Again, it's not popular to help people of color, but he was a fake, right? Just like Elon could have been considered a fake. He was all into the green. Then all of a sudden, he's condemning other people that aren't into the green for being into the green. Again, Elon's got to be careful, right? Has to be seen a phony. Right? He could be a double agent. He could have dossiers on Republicans and steering them away from Trump. Believe me, these people have psychological disorders like you won't believe, just so he could be the hero, right? Right. Now, like the lady I'm talking about that was with Luna, I'm a sex criminal helping her. She's causing it, and the people that are the sex criminals are running around paying her and paying everyone else, right? She's not the only one. Now, Facebook and Meta came up again. No, they came up as causing pedophilia in people by inundating them with certain psychology. So years ago, I told you they're playing psychological manipulation games, not games. That's them. They're playing psychological manipulation operations, spycraft operations. They're not detecting pedophiles. The pedophiles are already out there and living wealthy lives. Quit being part of the scam. Oh, shit. Thank you, Larry. She creates the person that you investigate instead of the people that pay her. That's pretty much it. That's why she was under investigation. Right. But she gets to Meta, then she's got enough power to stay alive. Or stay alive, meaning a viable operator. Right. Meta came up dirty the whole time. Right. That was the first major attack, or that's the only actual major attack I received in Santa Fe. They came up as part of it, a major part of it, possibly direct energy part of it. Right. Well, because when you're getting hit by the psychological warfare, the question is an organic response to the psychological warfare torture, or is it a direct energy enhancing the psychological warfare torture? Motherfucker, please. It's still them. I mean, it's not organic, right? So you can see when you try to take the narcos out, what they do, and the sex traffickers and all that. That's what happened to me. What's happening to ICE right now happened to me all those years, but it was a little more covert. But see, it may not be more covert. Your officers might actually be under attack in their personal lives. They can have 10 neighbors that were just nice people and seem like nice people, and they're going to set them up over the next coming years because they went against the narco state, which is also the intelligence state. It's not by accident that your kids are addicted to narcotics, because they addict your kids so their kids won't be targeted for addiction. Oh, there's a machine that does it. And some of it's physical. It's not just like a metaphysical machine. No, the techies. Remember the techies? Well, they're all narcos and sex traffickers. They never changed, man. They just hired PR firms and hired bigger spies. Right? All of a sudden, the techies are the churchgoers, right? See the scam? It's everywhere. No, we're not the sex trafficking narcos anymore. We are the church. And they're leading the Trump administration around by the nose. All you got to do is when you in 4 years you're gone, right? And they'll do it with the next person. Meanwhile, generations of people are lost. In the 80s and the 90s, there was narcotics, right? And even a little bit, it took them years to bring it to where it is now, right? But we kept it under control. There's no reason. The advances, I've said this before, the advances in law enforcement technology would destroy, absolutely destroy these entities if the law enforcement was honest. We had nothing back then compared to what we have now. We used to have to go the triangulation thing. I mean, I still use it, I'm sure, but right. I mean, now everything's more technologically advanced, but you can't get anywhere now, right? Oops, 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 oops. FBI is still dirty. You probably got rid of the good people, right? That's the scam. Believe me. See, what I didn't know is when a new marshal comes in, they go in and they go, but it's the same model all the way through the entire government, all the way up to the CIA directors and this person, that person, that. Right. No, it's not personal squabble. That's how they hide it. Right. It's the Chinese and Russian take over the United States, but it involves narcos and all the other things you see destroying the United States. Right. Yeah, the Republicans are their own worst enemy. I mean, you all went over the line in attacking a certain group of people that, really they're just pawns for the Democrats, right? 100%. And the Democrats are just pawns for China and Russia with their buddy walls. Isn't it amazing that you couldn't think that he was a Chinese operator until I just said it, and that's because they attacked me last night or this morning, I guess it was, and they've been attacking me all along, actually. Oh, they set up these crazy things. They're patterns. It's patterns. Nothing big, but it's how they do it. Spies know how it's done. They may never have. They may not even have told you how it was done. How it's done, right? Because they don't want to tell you what it is. They're corrupt. They're just waiting until they can get the drug money again. So the big thing was CIA. Just let it happen. It'll be over soon. That's what it was when I was in the Marshal Service. But it's bullshit. There are CIA. See, that's how they do it. It's the CIA because why? Because they're using CIA people. So when the Russians and the Chinese have enough CIA people on covert payment, which is not like Hansen, it's just they keep boosting them in life from a distance, right? Then they launch those operations and say it's the CIA. Right? Yeah, the Chinese and the Russians killed Luna because he's not going to be. What's the thing about Luna? Do you think Luna would be a political officer? No, right? But there are Republicans there that would have been political officers, right? Right. Right. Well, this essentially self-serving pieces of shit. That's what they look for. Trying to shift Trump into that. Trump's still trying to see. Trump has this legacy thing that's what messes them up. He gets worried about his legacy every so often. Right? Well, he's not doing anything wrong in Minnesota. You're all playing the deep state scam. The person that's trying to take the narcos and the sex traffickers out is the bad guy. Right? So we'll just call them immigrants, right? When they're not even immigrants. They never even entered into the real immigration process. They're parolees. Right. Meanwhile, the whole time, the officers and agents are receiving calls from the real immigrants asking for help to straighten out their neighborhood. That all of a sudden now is cartel central. Them and their buddy Walls or fraudster central. And frauds are sensible. It's not hard to fix the problem that's going on. And look at that police chief. Police chief Santa Fe. Most likely, I didn't know he was. Right. Police chief, state police superintendent, New Mexico. Same thing in Florida. Bondi had people around it who were totally corrupt. We're playing her. Right. I mean, she still did her job and got the work done, but not to the level it would have been done. Had hidden corrupt cells all throughout Florida. The FBI's not looking for spies; they're looking for money from spies, man. Take their life up, and they won't see you. Right? What do you think? All it is a few pedophiles in the bureau? More than that. That's the scam. Right? We are the pedophile owners. No, you're actually the pedophiles. Right? And in some cases, they're not pedophiles, but they have a science and a technology to cause a person to become a pedophile or struggle to not be it. But they also have metaphysical power, which is really an anti-power. They can will people to be pedophiles. What angers them is when you don't become a pedophile for them. They're sick, man. Been sick their whole life. Yeah, these teachers and all these people, right? Some of them were caused to be pedophiles. That's why you see some of the light sentences. Don't know how the judge knows, but judge surmises maybe he's attacked. Right. Here's the point. Sometimes what they do backfires. So their system isn't as intelligent as it needed to be. If judge is sitting on a case, let's say it's a pedophile teacher, and you've seen some of them get like probation or something, and the deep state attacks the judge in the middle of the case, some of the judges will shut it down and give the person like probation. Right. The other judges say, show me the money. Right. And then give the person 90 years. Oklahoma's fake. Big fake. Right. It seems like the churchier a community is, the more fake it is. I was just noticing all the churches around here the other day. It's real. You can't go into church and be an honest person. I'm telling you right now. You either got to be totally ignorant, and you can't be like federal agent or have been federal agent and not be corrupt. That's like I said. The lineation in my life was that I went in the federal government. If I never did that, I would have had a normal life. Right. Even though they were attacking me, but everybody gets attacked here or there. Right. Well, because once you go in the federal government, you have to be corrupt, or they kill you. Now, somebody like Cashman, well, I don't do that, but you got about 5 or 6 people that talk in your ear, right? They're corrupt. Oh, but they're helping me stop the narcos. They're helping you stop the narcos that they are told are the ones that have to go. But the ones that get to stay, get to stay. Now, FBI agent may tell you, I have no idea what he's talking about. I've never stopped investigating a narco. It's their entire system. Right. No, it was a CIA thing. I had a right. See how it works? And I mean, if you knew the quality of people in the government when I was in there, you'd just be shocked. Right. Just pieces of shit, man. One-way pieces of shit who couldn't do really anything without the machine propping them up. Right. Look, the secret, you think I didn't notice it? The secret to every person in the Marshal Service that did well was a $1 trillion machine. Make a phone call, your case comes together. The other person makes a phone call, we ain't got time, nah, we're not going to do it. Right. That's it. What freaked me out was that the guy that did America's Most Wanted, he came up dirty, metaphysically. before they alleged all that stuff. I was like, nah, it's probably just something trying to get me, in the wrong mind. Right? Gangster, mafia. That would be part of the takeover. Because the mafia then becomes America's most wanted. And they decide what cases go on there. Correct. You don't see any RICO cases going against government hardly at all, do you? Almost every government is RICO. Again, sometimes they back this political party or that political party. So then they're not RICO, right? But nobody will investigate it because and prosecute it, because then who's guilty? All of them, right? If you're in government and you're RICO and you're effectuating your RICO, in your mind, if you investigate that type of RICO, it might lead to you. So those don't exist, right? Just poor black people from Pittsburgh. Right? Right. No, there's not. Yeah, look, they're trying to prosecute the ICE and the Border Patrol while we actually have real RICO going on in government. Right. Walls is RICO, I'm sure of it. That's what that whole thing is. But what is RICO really? China and Russia. But see, they have their own little clique. Well, this guy, we watch supremacists, right? Right. Right. His buddy, white supremacist, says it's a white supremacist issue. And they know. Right. They just willful ignorance. Right. Something more than that. Right. Well, they say this guy's not our kind. But it's bullshit story. None of them are their own kind. Everybody's different. It's just another bullshit line they use to deceive themselves and deceive other people. Nothing's changed. That's why you can't get anywhere in Wisconsin. The entire nation of corruption is attacking you, or not Wisconsin. Maybe there's something in Wisconsin, but in Minnesota, right? Might be a case in Wisconsin that's blocked. Right. That's a setup. There's no way that set of conditions. ICE is not responsible for the death. Border Patrol is not responsible. DHS is not responsible for that death or those deaths. The environment that they were confronted with is exactly it. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. Nobody can operate in that environment. It's like putting them in a psychological torture chamber, in a prisoner of war camp, and saying, now try to do it. Walls is a piece of shit Chinese operative, destroying our nation with narcotics, fraud, and everything else. I'd look into Minnesota being a transnational shipment point into Canada, and I'd do it fast. If you have anybody that's honest in the government there. Right. Continue to play your games, all of you. Continue to play your games. Hell is not more than 100 years away for all of you. Even if Elon flies you to Mars or comes up with some new life-saving medicine or something, right? Or Bezos, or the rest of the ones that sold out. You're sold out if you have money. There's no doubt.